commonly misdiagnosed problem with damp on chimney breasts is sulphate damage. Quite often people will associate damp on a chimney breast as having been a failure of a lead flashing or an absent flashing, perhaps a cement or a tile fillet where the tiles or the slates abut a chimney breast. But there's another potential cause which isn't usually referred to and sometimes is misdiagnosed. If you were to find blotchy damp patches on your chimney breast, so irregular shapes, but it's on the chimney breast or on the ceiling or the adjacent part of the wall to the chimney breast, it won't necessarily directly be a roof leak or a chimney leak. What it could be, and what often is sulphate damage. This is a chemical process where the contaminants within the flue, which have sulphur and soot, carbon, this sort of thing, contaminate through the lining of the flue and the brickwork and the lime mortar which the brick is bonded with, and then shows itself on the internal wall face as these damp patches, and it's simply a chemical reaction. So the only thing that we know that will fix this problem is to actually take the plaster off the wall back to the bare brickwork and then to re-render the stack completely with a sulphate resistant cement. If you went to a builder's yard and bought a bag of Portland cement, they're all largely the same depending which manufacturer you get it from. But actually most of the manufacturers will make a specialist cement which is actually called a sulphate resistant cement, and it has an additive in it which retards sulphur precisely for this purpose that I'm describing. So, having taken the plaster off the wall, you would then render the whole stack from top to bottom with the sulphate resisting cement, and then once that's gone hard, you can then replaster it and redecorate in the usual way. And this is the only absolute permanent cure that we know of that will hold the sulphur back. Any other amount of replastering, so if you just take the plaster off and immediately replaster it, or you just repaint it, perhaps you use one of these paint-on sealant products, these have a short-term benefit just cosmetically of making it look nice for a while, but the sulphate resistant cement re-render is the only thing that we know of that will fix it permanently. So what you're looking for, just to summarise, is little blotchy blobs. So you might get a damp patch here and a damp patch there, and in between it's actually dry. If you see that type of approach on your chimney breast or on the ceiling, often because the damp can soak through to the ceiling, chances are it's sulphate related, not an actual roof leak.